Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry.
They may not be the biggest of the bunch, but they giving what needs to be gay. Hey friend, it's your girl Selena Nicole, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, like I said, hey friend. Y'all, I got a lot of good questions about my breast augmentation. So you know what? Here's the Q&A. So one of the biggest questions I got was, who was my doctor and where is he located? So my doctor was Dr. David E. Kim of Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery. He's located in Beverly Hills, California. One thing that I saw in my comments a lot was, how did his bedside manner, did I feel away? Or some people were just like, his bedside manner, it didn't bother me. I felt like he was very straight to the point. He was a little bit witty, he was cool. He made me feel comfortable, and he made me feel like he was very knowledgeable about what he was doing. So no complaints there. I love Dr. Kim, love his work. So shout out to Dr. Kim. That's my doctor. Yes sir, you did what needed to be done. So another question that always kind of followed the where did I go was, how much was it? So it was a bit more expensive just because Dr. Kim is a celebrity surgeon and he is placed in Beverly Hills. Because on my channel I always want to be super transparent with you guys, my procedure was around $11,000. I know some of y'all about to be like, girl, what? For some titties? But the truth is, I came across Dr. Kim, 7 years ago? And about 5 years ago, I had my heart set on him. I had already done all my research and everything. And then once I found him, I was like, yeah, him. I want to go to him. And it just so happened that at the time, you had to be 23 to get the type of implants that I wanted. So I waited. So yes, sis, I dropped that bag. And how long did I stay in LA? So I flew in Thursday. My pre-op appointment was Friday. Surgery was Saturday, May 22nd, 2021. So I had Saturday was my surgery day. Sunday was a rest day. Monday was my post-op appointment. And then Tuesday, I flew home. What is that, 3 days? So I had my surgery day and then flew home 2 days after. How far out am I post-op? So right now, I'm 9 months post-op, not pregnant. The way that my doctor went about sizing is you have to bring him photos of either some of his work and his patients, different people, whatever, of their breasts, so that you can bring it to him and be like, yes, I want to look exactly like this, size-wise. That, to me, was a bit scary because when I went to different consultations in the past, they usually give you the certain size implants, whatever size, and you're able to just stuff all these different sizes in your bra, kind of look and be like, yes, I want this one. But Dr. Kim is able to gauge it. You give him a picture, he looks at it, and he's like, okay, to get you to where you want to be, about this many cc's. So instead of doing the implant stuff method, what he does is when he is performing the operation on you, he puts in temporary implants. He pumps it up to whatever size that he feels mirrors what you said that you wanted. And then once he gets the right sizing and everything, then he goes ahead and puts in the actual implant. I showed him a picture, told him what I wanted, which was a small to mid C. He said, bet. He ain't say that, but that's what I got. The biggest question I got was, how many cc's did I get? Your girl got 300 cc's in my left and right breast. And I went with high profile gummy silicone implants. For me, I decided to do gummy silicone because the best way to explain to people is say saline. Saline is as if you fill up a Ziploc bag full of water and then turn it on its side, and it has that rippling. They say that you can sometimes see the rippling with saline implants, so I opted out of that one, even though they claim that it is the safest because it's just saline solution. They put saline in IVs. When it came down to silicone, initially, so backstory. As soon as I turned 18, I wanted to get my boobs done. I started going to consultations, the whole nine. But when I went to the consultations, they were like, yeah, you can't get silicone until you're 23 years old. And I'm like, what? Apparently the FDA hadn't approved silicone implants in anyone under 23. So I decided to wait because I knew I didn't want to go with the saline. So once the time came, I was 24, and that's when I went ahead and decided on the gummy silicone, because if you bite into a gusher, and you know how like the gusher inside kind of like seeps out, that's what silicone reminds me of. As to where the gummy silicone is like if you bite into a gummy bear and it still holds its shape, you just bit it off. That's what the implant is like if it ruptures, God forbid, but I just opted for that because another thing about the saline, if the saline ruptures, you're gonna have a flat titty. And I also didn't want no flat titty. Like, it wasn't for me. So yes, 300 cc's each side, high profile gummy silicone is what I had. Did I go over or under the muscle? So I decided to go under the muscle because when I did my research, I saw that it tends to look more natural. And not only that, it's easier for you to be able to breastfeed. And child, when I have my babies, I want to feed my babies. So that was just my way to go. So where was my incision? I actually decided to go under the crease. A lot of people either go under the crease, through the nipple, in the underarm, or even through the belly button. I personally wasn't really too worried about scarring, so I went under the crease. And if I'm, again, transparent moment, I have little areolas, so the doctor and I agreed that like maybe that wasn't the best thing to go through the nipple. And honestly, I was just trying to figure out like how this man gonna go through something that's so tiny and put this big old implant through it. Yeah, I went under the crease because that just seemed like the more ideal thing for me personally. Oh, another one I got was how was it taking out my own stitches? Y'all, when I tell y'all I was more nervous than anything, like my anxiety was getting the best of me because once I just yanked it, it was nothing. But when I tell you I was about to pass out at the thought, like you sitting here like this and I had like a mirror and I'm just like pulling it and I'm calling my mom like, Mom, please come help me. Like I'm getting sick, I'm getting nauseous, like because my nerves were getting the best of me. It was not bad at all. Literally there was like a blue string and all I had to do was on the 10th day just pull it out. I was so scared, but it was a breeze. I actually think I have some footage of it. I was so in distress in the process of doing it that I actually didn't record like me pulling the whole thing out, but there is a clip that I have of me just going through the motions. Boy, that whole process was very dramatic, but it did not hurt at all. It's just more nerve-wracking than anything because it's like I'm pulling a string thing out my boob. So yeah, it wasn't bad, but it was just like scarier knowing what I'm about to do and when I was in the process of doing it. But it actually being done was not bad at all. Like literally not bad at all. Okay, so another question was, how do my scars look? I'll go ahead and show you.
So here's one. Here's two. Ew.
So honestly, y'all, I don't know if people really realize how flat chested I really was. So because I didn't have any sort of under boob, when he put the implant in, there was no way to know where my crease was gonna be. So it's not perfectly like right in the crease area because I did not have a crease. So essentially he had to go in, but once I have some sort of under boob, an incision's already placed. So that literally doesn't bother me at all. But just so you guys have some sort of understanding, like, wait, she was supposed to go in the crease, but it's a little above. But I still like it and it don't bother me. A follow-up question with that one is, what do I use on my scars? Now, friend, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't really been using anything. I think I tried to use scar stuff maybe like altogether 5 times. Like since I've had surgery, 5 times, which really isn't the best, I guess. So, but think about how my scars look. Like that's without using almost anything. I'm not exaggerating when I say literally 5 times. That's all I've done. I do have the products that I've used. So shortly after I had my surgery and everything, at first I was like, oh my god, like I hope I don't scar bad, blah blah blah, whatever. So I went out and bought some scar stuff. The first thing I got was the bio oil. I saw that bio oil was really good. It would fade the scar, but not only fade the scar, just in case I got stretch marks, it would prevent that. So as soon as I got the okay to start using stuff on my scars or on my breast period, this is the thing that I used a little more consistently, which was almost never, but this is what I did use. I literally just put it on the top of my chest, and then I put it once the incision was completely healed. A little goes a long way. Like you only need a tiny bit and it'll cover your whole chest. Another thing that I used was Scar Away. This Scar Silicone Gel. So this one actually rolls on super easy. All I did when I had used this one was you just roll it along your scar line. This is super convenient. My intention with this one was to use it on the go. When I did use these, I used it for about a week at a time. These definitely remind me of Band-Aids. They come in packs like this. It's like 2 to each sheet. And because my scars are so thin, let me see if you can see through it. Like you see here, that's one pad. So what I would do is cut it in half in the middle, just right down the middle, long ways, and just put it right on my scar. And I'd leave it for a week. It's waterproof. I think that's really waterproof because it's stained. Not only does it prevent and treat scars, but it definitely helps for keloid scars. So it's supposed to smoothen scarring down. So I got this one just in case, because I didn't know. I will say, you can't put the oil or the silicone scar gel on your incision line and then put this on top because it's just gonna slick. Like this is essentially this, but in a bandage form. Okay, so what was my pain like? Honestly, my pain was not bad at all. Looking back at it, if you watch my vlog, then you'll see the one thing that was really just taking over was my nausea. If nausea was not involved, the pain levels, I'd say maybe a 4, maybe not even that, because it just, I wasn't in pain in that way. It was just my nausea, and then again, if you watch the vlog, you know that I had the rashes and everything because I was allergic to some of the material. But the pain aspect of it was nothing, like a piece of cake. I do have a little higher pain tolerance, but to me it's so doable. Like if I knew what I knew now, I would still go and do the procedure, if that makes sense. The only painful thing is when there would be times that I would forget. I'm not able to like move myself, or I can't really pick this up the way that I usually would. So there would be times I try to get out of bed and I do this. And I'm like, oh, because again, I went under the muscles. So that, it was just more discomfort. So I'd say it took me to maybe like a 6. But other than that, recovery and pain was a breeze. What was the worst part of my recovery? So the worst part was definitely the nausea. The next part would definitely be the rash that I got on my thigh. That sucked. Like, that was just, I don't like itching. So the fact that my whole side was just on fire itching was terrible. Past that, I think the absolute worst thing, which was more so for longer, was having to sleep on my back. Like, y'all, I sleep on my stomach. That's my thing. Sleeping on my stomach is just so comfortable to me. And having to sleep on my back for months was terrible, especially right after surgery where you have to be elevated and sleeping basically sitting up. No, like, it was a disaster, y'all. This was my holy grail, okay? Like, sleeping with this neck pillow really saved me. It changed the game. If you are thinking about getting a breast augmentation, get you one of these. I don't even like using these like on vacation. If I'm on an airplane, I don't use this at all. But when I tell you, this saved me. Like, chef's kiss. I was so afraid that I would just like turn on my side on accident or like roll over in the middle of the night because I'm so used and accustomed to sleeping on my stomach. I was able to lay on my back and just kind of like tilt my head instead of just laying on my back and my neck just be like a noodle or something. Like, she to go. So the sports bra I wore for recovery. Initially, I went to Amazon and I just ordered a few zip-up front sports bras. I had no idea what size to get. I think I got like a small, medium, not even knowing what size, a small and medium fit. When in reality, I guess I should have got an extra small because as is, I'm very petite. So when I went to my post-op appointment to put the sports bra on, it was loose in the front. And he was like, you know, you should be good getting home, but if you want that tighter cleavage look, then you're gonna have to get a smaller sports bra. So I was like, no, I ain't spend all this money just to go home with some gap titties. So as soon as I dropped my mom off, I went straight to the Under Armour outlet, and that is what my doctor had suggested. He said that those were really good. So I went, bought 2 zip-up sports bras, and went on my way. So that's the one that I used for recovery. Like, when I got home, my mom had bought me like 3 more. So Under Armour zip-up sports bra. I'll go ahead and actually link the sports bra that I got in the description bar just in case anybody's interested in it. Ooh, another good question is, how long did they take to drop? So honestly, I know some girls, when they get their breasts done, they have like, they're like here. After my procedure, my boobs were still high, but they kind of just reminded me of torpedoes. Like, I literally was walking around calling myself torpedo tits because they just kind of pew pew. But I'd say I noticed a drop, like that they were actually not to my chin. Like, sis, they were high. They weren't like, you know how some girls, they get it and they're like kind of like squarey here. Mine were just super high and just, so I noticed that they stopped being right at my chin at about 3 months. I say 3 months they started to look a little more normal, but truthfully, like maybe like a month, 2 months out, they looked very tight, like high and tight. And then once 6 months hit, that's when you start to like really feel like, okay, I look a little more natural. These are falling nicely. So give it time. Like, don't rush it. I was quick to be like, oh, let me get me a little bralette on. Like, let me go ahead. I can't wait to put on a bikini. And I look back at some of them pictures like, what persuaded me to wear that nice V-cut dress with them high titties like that? I've been looking back at some of my pictures. Some of y'all fake, because y'all should have told me, girl, you could have waited a little longer to put that dress on. But you know what? I had titties, so I wasn't trying to wait. But yeah, give it like 3 months to see them actually start to drop a little bit. But then once that 6-month thing hit, you're gonna be like, oh, check me out. Because they start to look more natural. So just give it some time, because I promise you're going to love them. Okay. How long was I out of work? So I'm not gonna lie, my job kind of tried to play me a little bit. I guess they have a policy where if you're not at work within 30 days, they'll terminate you. And I gotta get to the bag. So I was in a dilemma. I actually had to go back to work after 2 weeks. Dr. Kim had suggested about a month because with my job, it required like more lifting, more running around and stuff like that. And I wasn't really allowed that downtime the way that I should have been. I was able to just kind of go back like once a month, and I did that for about 2 months, like once every 30 days for 2 months. So I did take a good amount of time off. I just wanted to make sure, because I invested a lot into myself, I didn't want to go back and basically damage the product that I paid for, you know? So I made sure I took my time off. My doctor let me know if I was just at a desk or not really having to do too much, then it would be okay to go back after 4 days. But because I wasn't sitting all day, then I had to wait a little longer. Do they feel hard, and do they feel real? That was a question I got a lot. And no, they're not hard. Like, they're not hard at all. With gummy silicone, it said that they actually feel a lot more natural. So I think that they feel real. Like, they're not super jiggly. Like, they not jiggling like Jello, but they're like, they're squishy. Like, you wouldn't squeeze my boob and be like, ooh, those are fake, Your Honor. Like, it's just not giving that. It's giving natural. It's giving their mind, because they are. Period. So what size was I before? I wasn't a size. Like, I literally was not a size. I could not fill a 32A cup. So if I was a size, I was a training bra. And I know that sounds really absurd, but I'm not joking. Like, I didn't have anything. It got to a point where I could wear like a regular bra and I could bend over. And if my shirt was like a camisole or something, if I'm bending over too much, you may or may not see a nipple. I'm not even joking. Like, you bend over and it's like, oh, you might want to cover up. So that was frustrating. I was not a size. I couldn't fill up an A cup. The following question after that was, what size am I now? So I currently wear a 34C, 32D. It really depends on the bra. Like, at Victoria's Secret, I'm a 32D. So I don't really wear bras like that. Like, I really don't wear bras like that. But when I have been bra shopping, when I was trying to see what size, the 34C fit me a lot better. It's how they look now, my final result. Right now, I'm 9 months post-op. They say that the full recovery and you knowing exactly what it'll look like is a year. So I'm not far out from a year at all. They really say at 6 months, you'll really see what your breast will look like. So I would say that this is probably their final form. If they are still dropping, I hope they don't drop too low and go to my toes. That ain't cute. But nah, for real. I think that this is how they'll look. I feel like I probably am still healing a little bit, but I think they've dropped nicely, and I think this is the final form, the final result. I think so. And I'm gonna stick beside them. I like them. So if this is the final result, then I'm pleased. Do I wish I would have gone any bigger or smaller? At first I was like, oh my gosh, should I have gone bigger? Like, I just paid money. Like, should I have got more noticeably bigger boobs? But realizing what I was then to where I am now is genuinely a huge difference. Initially, I'll be honest, yes, I did look at myself in the mirror like, what did I do? Like, why did I go so small? Like, I should have gone bigger. When your breasts start to drop and fluff, they kind of give the appearance that they're bigger, because you have to remember that they're higher and they're tighter. So once they start to like do this, they start to become what you would want more. As time passed, I started to look at myself and really start to love my breasts. The work to me was amazing. It was just, I was not sure. Instead of saying, hey, I want a small to mid C, if I should have just been like, hey, I want a full C. I definitely would not have gone any smaller. I'm right in the realm of where I wanted to be, but now I'm 100% pleased with my size. That's one thing I did go back and forth. And they say that a lot of women do that, like that they have like the post-op blues, like where they'll look at their body and they'll be like, oh my God, I should have did this differently. But then when time passes, it's like, wow, like I really like it. So with plastic surgery, it's really all about trusting the process. You're gonna be swollen, you're gonna be tight, you're gonna be high, you're just gonna be all these different things, but just give it time, because that's really what I had to do. I really just had to trust the process. And now I'm just so thankful that I trusted myself to make that judgment. And I feel like now this matches my frame well. Some people are like, why didn't you go bigger? And it's like, I personally did not want huge boobs. I wanted something that I would be able to just fill my clothes out. That's all. I didn't want anything too big. I didn't want anybody to like look at me and be like, her boobs are fake. Or question, are those her real boobs? You know, like I wanted something very natural, something that fit my body type. You know, it just wasn't giving for me. So initially, yes, I was like, dang, I should have gone bigger. But now I'm like, nah, I'm good where I'm at. How long till I have to replace them? So with the implants that I got, they have a 20-year warranty. I personally am not looking to change them unless, unfortunately, I did get capsular contracture or a rupture in my breast. Like, God forbid I get any of that. But a complication in that way would be the reason as to why I would replace them, other than if I had a baby. Like, if I have a kid in the future and after motherhood I start to see a shift in my breast that I'm not pleased with, then I would go ahead and get them redone. I know, like, one of my friend's mom has had breast implants for 15 years and they're still great. So do I have to replace them? Prayerfully not for a very, very, very long time. Ooh. Am I worried about breast implant illness? When I first started talking about getting my boobs done, there were people like, oh my God, have you heard of breast implant illness? The answer was yes, because before I even started to speak on the fact of, hey, I want to get my boobs done, I did extensive research, you know? And it was scary at first. Like, at first I was like, that's a chance. Like, I could get that. That's a thing. It can make you nervous, but I had to weigh out the pros and cons for myself. And a big thing for me was there's always a chance in anything that you do, or a possible risk. There can always be something. I looked at, you know, the percentages and, you know, how many women do get their breasts done to, you know, basically like the ratio, like how many women get their breasts done compared to how many have reported breast implant illness. And I know it's common, like it's a common thing, and not for a second did I overlook it. Like, it doesn't matter. That is not the case. I tried to remain very optimistic. I don't know, like I just didn't want to jinx myself out, and I just kind of looked at it like, yes, there's a chance, but I'm going to be prayerful that that's not the cards that I'm dealt, you know? So a big thing for me is just paying attention to my body, like paying attention to different signs, paying attention to, is this different with me? Is that different with me? And, you know, knowing that I do have breast implants, very mindful of, you know, symptoms, or, hey, this is abnormal for me to do this, or my body feels weird, like maybe I should get it checked up, you know? So I take that very seriously. Researching, I still took it very seriously. I try not to think about anything like that, in a sense of like, I don't want to literally give myself anxiety. Like, I don't want to become paranoid to it. Mindful, but not paranoid. Am I currently worried about it? No. Do I know that that's a thing? Yes. Do I know that it's real? Yes. I'm just staying very positive when it comes down to my journey. So my final question is, how has getting my breasts done changed my life, and do I feel more confident? Do I feel like it's changed my life? No. For me, getting my boobs done was an enhancement. You know, like makeup. Makeup is supposed to enhance your beauty, not make your beauty. I feel like nobody should feel like I need makeup. I'm not pretty without makeup. That's how I view plastic surgery as a whole. Women should empower not only themselves but each other, in a sense of, I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful without makeup. I'm beautiful without getting my body done. You know, just things like that. Just embracing who you are first. That's a big thing for me, and that was a big thing for me. It took me a very long time to appreciate my body. It took me a very long time to be comfortable in my skin. And I would not have allowed myself to go through with a procedure if I didn't have enough confidence in myself to know that I'm beautiful regardless if I do this or not. So I can say that, has it made me more confident? I can honestly say in certain ways, yes. I feel like I can put on a bikini and be like, ooh, I'm sexy, you know? But it's not, I never looked at it like, I need boobs. Like, I don't know. Like, I never looked at it like this is something that I need. That's the one thing, you know, especially my dad's like, why are you doing it? Like, God made you the way that you are. You don't have to do this and stuff like that. Like, and I had to explain to him, Dad, I don't feel like I need this. This is just something that I want, you know? So I don't think that it changed my life. Did it boost my confidence a bit? Yes. I can wear what I want and feel like, okay, this looks good on me. I can wear the clothes that I've never really been able to pull off before, you know? But life-changing? No. Confident booster? Yes. Again, it's about enhancements. My biggest thing to anybody looking to get plastic surgery is just love on yourself first. Like, love you first. Know that you're beautiful first. And then once you love that part of you and you're like, hey, I want to enhance this a bit, then do it. Beauty's not even about the outside layer. That's the whole thing. Beauty is all about literally within. That sounds so cliche, but it's true. That's what I want to leave this Q&A with, especially if there's anybody like battling like, I need boobs to look good. Girl, no you don't. I went a whole 24 years. I know that's not a super long time, but I went for years watching girls grow up all around me just getting boobs. Puberty missed me like this, but Everybody around me was getting boobs, and I still was able to stand next to them and still feel beautiful. And that's what I would want for everybody. So, I don't know, just love on yourself, friend. That's all I want you to do. Love on yourself first. And then once you get to the place where you're comfortable in who you are, then make that enhancement. Know that you a baddie without the boobies. A baddie without the boobies. And then once you have gotten to that point, then become the baddie with the boobies. I said boobies. Oh, Lord jeez. The baddie with the boobies. Okay? Yeah, I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. And if you're about to make that journey, or you're currently in your breast augmentation journey, then congratulations, and I wish the best for you, okay? Personal opinion, I would do it all over again. Honestly, truly. I think I would do it all over again. It's not so bad. It's a little rocky. It's not always pretty. When is surgery ever pretty? It's the results that are pretty, okay? But child, it's a journey. It's a journey. Okay, friend, I hope that I answered all of the questions that you had. And if I didn't, feel free to go ahead and leave a question in the comments. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope that I could help or kind of give you a little more knowledge, or just even if you were just interested in my journey. I hope that this kind of shed light a little more on my personal experience. You finally see the girls. If you watched part 1 and part 2, thank you. We're here. Like, thank you for those who actually asked me about this. I actually was shocked. Like, people care about what I went through. This is like, oh. But yes, this is 9 months post-op. Now you see the results. I think Dr. Ken did what he needed to do. Okay, well, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. And stop playing with me. Go ahead, click that notification bell too. Okay? Y'all know the drill. You know how it goes. Ooh, hold on, friend. I gotta call you back.
Make a mistake, you better learn from it. Play with till you get burned from it. My daddy always told me